Salutations, my friends. Happy Saturday, last Saturday of March. Unbelievable how quickly the days and weeks seem to go by when you get caught up in doing your stuff. I'm excited about our time together this morning. If you're tuning in, if it's morning where you're at, it's 10 a.m. Pacific time here on the West Coast. I am going to disappear for just a little bit. I'm going to go refill my cup with some coffee, and then we'll come back and we will have a little chat about our book today, How to Do the Work. I'm excited. I am loving everything I have read. How to Do the Work. This has been quite influential, and it just, Dr. LePera just dropped this book, I want to say a few weeks ago, and it even prior to it landing its way into everyone's hands that wants it, she was already making a huge impact on her Instagram account. So we'll talk a little bit. I'll be right back. Go do what you need to do. I'm going to go grab some coffee and then we'll chat. Okay. Thank you for allowing me a little absence here. I'm excited because this book, as of lately, has been a much needed kind of distraction and escape from my other school projects that I have going on right now. And it's definitely, I think, not only because it's a topic cover that I'm very much intrigued by and enjoy learning about. I feel like it is a very engrossing, engaging, easy read, which is really important. So first of all, I want to kind of back up a little bit. I think I started following Dr. LePera. Her Instagram account is at the Holistic Psychologist. I probably want to say 6 maybe to 9 months after she started her Instagram page, and then it just blew up. And of course, the intrigue to me, without really knowing her content or knowing anything about her, was her title for herself, which is the Holistic Psychologist. Now, my approach to working with clients, I like to take upon a holistic approach and viewpoint when I'm working with people. And it's not just me hearing your concerns and issues, but it's me learning who you are as a complete person. And that requires us going beyond maybe the immediate concern you have that brought you or brought an interest brought an interest of you to me or to my work. I really like to know the whole complete package of the individual as best as I can, because I think that's truly the best way to help someone with their stuff. And so upon that, I began following her and her content and kind of her path and stuff. And I was really intrigued by the fact that quite often, Dr. LePera, she would show through her social media platforms, she would show herself doing the work. And I feel like that is so important, kind of taking upon that model of practicing what you preach, not just sharing or saying something, but actually living by it and living up to it. And that for a therapist and as a therapist, it is really huge. I never want to hope that I'm undermining any recommendations and or advice or insight I'm giving, and I'm not following up by it, or not in a sense, I don't, the value of what is being shared, what is being said, doesn't line up with where I genuinely and authentically feel. And I think that's really important as a therapist, because sometimes in therapy, there are things disclosed by particularly the client that hasn't been shared with anybody else. And in those moments when these things arrive, and there are awakening moments in sessions when these things occur, it's important that in that atmosphere, in that environment where this happens, that the person that witnesses that is mature and intelligent to be able to deal with whatever is being seen and being awakened. And when you are starting out new as a therapist, I know that can be a very scary thing. And sometimes clients have shared that they had like major insightful moments in therapy, and maybe perhaps what was released or what was awakened was not necessarily supported in the best way possible that it could. And of course, once you get to that level in therapy, you become and feel so vulnerable. And there's such a beauty in that, because that's needed in order to heal and grow through our stuff. But it's also very important that the person that you're with, you feel very supported by. I almost think of, in a sense, it's that moment where the therapist is providing that environment where you are right there in their arms and they're like, I got you. I know that was some painful stuff that came up, or that was really hard, what you went through or what you're just realizing, but I got you. And there's something about that empowers the individual to come to understand that the realization of whatever may have just occurred in that moment is fully supported. And you're encouraged and helped to go into that and not just say, oh, well, that happened, that was great, moving on to the next thing. You're encouraged to develop an intimate connection with what occurred in that huge aha growth moment. So, gosh, Dr. LePera has like, I don't know, millions of followers at this point. So anyone chiming in, I'm sure I'm not going to be the last or the only one talking about her book. But I want to share that prior to this, and I was sitting on the fence when she first started her self-healers community, and I had signed up and everything, was getting notices and emails. I kind of felt like, I wanted to be a part of it just to kind of witness what this was like, what it was about. But I also felt like I really did not believe at the time it was really a place that I should take, because I felt like there were so many people that really needed, how I want to say, like that seat, or really needed to be a part of that community. For me, I didn't feel like it was an absolute need. I really wanted to be a witness and a part of how this is occurring and how people are experiencing this kind of community, this kind of support and assistance, so that I can mirror that with the individuals I'm coming in contact with and connecting with. So she has a self-healers community, which I'm not sure of the numbers of individuals that can become members at one time. I know that over time it has been like just popping. There's just, and so I don't know what her specific mindset, if it's like 100 or 200 people at one time coming in. I don't know what she has all involved there, but you can definitely check that out on her social media sites and see what that's all about. But how to do the work. Now, my approach in therapy is that I try to let clients know that I really, really am, and I truly look to myself as just that guide and that support and that assistance. And I never want it to be in any way where an individual or person, in a sense, needs or depends on me specifically for their growth. I'm there to help guide and lead to the best of my ability and the allowing of the other person, but I can't do the work for you. And I mention and I disclose in my informed consents that your results are based off of your commitment to being a part of this relationship we build between client and therapist, and you doing the work. And I have lost some people. There's some people that have not hung in there or stuck with me probably as long as I feel that they need to or should, because at the end of the day, the sole responsibility of seeing the results along your healing journey is really upon you. And I'm one of those people where I think a duration of time needed in therapy and with a therapist is important. And I'm also one of those people with the approach that I don't believe it should take 10, 15 years for you to be able to grapple and get a handle on your stuff. And now here's the thing I'm learning is that it can take that long because the person chooses to want to take that long of a journey. And it's a hard thing. You may look at experiences or things by way in which a person has been impacted by stuff. Much of it maybe not of their own fault. And it's like, how much are you willing to invest in the time in yourself to improve these things? I'll assign them to start to recognize, start to look at stuff, start to implement certain things within their day. And sometimes people don't do it. And it's not a situation where I want to make someone feel like they need to do that. I am hoping you're getting to a point that you want to do it. It's kind of like you have reached the end of the line. You are hanging by a thread with whatever the situation is. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to get ourselves there to be like, yo, I need to work on some stuff. Something needs to change. And so let me go to the book. First of all, the book, I love to read. So if you're an individual that likes to read, I don't see where this would be any problem with you. I do have some clients that are kind of like, I'm not a big fan of reading, and I get it. So I'm the ultimate nerd, and I wish I could show you, and I'm just going to show you a little bit here. I have notes. This is why I love tangible physical books. I'm not undermining anybody that's into ebooks. And to a certain extent, I need to go there because then I can consume too many books and I don't have room. So ebooks are very nice and a way to organize stuff, and you don't have to have like books everywhere and bookshelves everywhere. But I want you to know I love the tangible feel of a book. I can write notes, I can highlight, I can color code, I'm one of those kind of people, I've got little sticky tabs and stuff on things. And you don't know how much I love a book because I'll return to it time and time again. There are some, as you see, I have notes. You might not be able to see the specifics. I leave pages, I leave things highlighted. There's things I want to point out. I'll even show you, I have that sticky tab there. That needs. Oh, okay, that's on her mind body practice section. I'll just show you quickly. I like to this section. I like to circle things. I like to highlight things, and it helps me. This is because of her approach, which is an approach that I believe is the best approach. I said it. And I'm not knocking any of the other. I believe you me. Within the past 10 years, within the psychotherapy world, the therapy world, there has been so much dropping and so many revelations and so much understanding about this stuff that goes just beyond the verbal talk therapy stuff, not undermining that at all, but really true connections of what is happening when people are stuck. Because, I get the people that are in therapy and they feel like they're stuck. There's not improvements or transitions made. What part of that do you need to take more ownership of so that you're not stuck? And a lot of times, being real honest, we are not looking in the camera the best that I can. We are not doing our part. And when we don't do our part, it feels like, one, we stuck forever. Two, it's taken all day long to fix this stuff. And this is stuff that, depending on your age and experiences, it could be major. It could have been things you've been dealing with for most of your life. And when you start to understand that there's a lot of stuff to unpack and repair and relearn, this takes true intentional work on your part. So the therapist is only supposed to be able to help you with so much of it. And this book, I feel like it is like the holy grail of our up and coming current modern day needs in therapy. It touches on everything. Okay. And I love the Dr. LePera. I don't know if you ever see this. I have no idea. There's a million people on the internet. If you see this, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for not only sharing insights from your own healing journey, but also allowing us to witness and see you. Because I have shared, when I first started following Dr. LePera, I shared her future self journal with a few of my clients. And again, I have some people that I don't do that. I don't journal. I don't what, I don't. And sometimes it turns into a song for me. But I'm always trying to get to a place where, at what point do you need to take ownership, start to implement some things that, yeah, you don't do this, but perhaps this is something you need to implement and try and do so that you can begin the cleansing and the purging process of your stuff. And journaling, which has been around forever, it is one of the most, I think, amazing tools and one of the most inexpensive tools that a person can utilize. And setting a time and intentional and setting a routine to work on your stuff. And so I started sharing her future self journal with a few clients. I had a few clients that, like many of us, they get into it. They're like, oh, this is really great. This is a really different approach on it. I'd never thought of journaling like this before, or this is really uncomfortable. This is awkward. I'm not used to this. And then we go through the wax and wane process where it's like they stop doing it. I don't see this working. I'm not quite sure how this is helping. And then that's where, in a sense, I feel like I get stuck because I'm trying to encourage the person as best that I can that these are the baby steps that lead to the bigger steps, that lead to the longer strides, that leads to the amount of miles covered. These are the things that lead to you starting to understand yourself better, how you interact with others in your environment better. These are the steps that are needed and required. So I want to share with you some nuggets. Oh gosh, how are we doing? I'm just on a rampage with just time is ticking away. So I quote unquote, I put this is a formal guide. This covers, I want to say, all of the bases that I believe many people go through and touch on when they're in therapy. It's an holistic approach, which means this is covering every facet, not just stuff that's going on with your thoughts, but also getting in tune with your body, how it's working, how it's not working for you, what you're doing that has sabotaged things from working to the best of their ability in your favor. This is the book where you start to learn and you can start knowing how to do better for yourself. Okay. Now, some individuals need the accountability and the guidance, which is wonderful. That's where the therapists come in. Some individuals need more impactful, intentful interventions to help them deal with their stuff, to bring things to revelation and to light. And that is wonderful. That is where the therapists come in. Some people, Dr. LePera talks about the damage that is done with the body upon the many stressors that an individual can go through. Some people are in need of medications to get themselves back into repair. But that does not mean now this is a case for some people, that does not mean you have to depend on that forever. Your thoughts are very powerful. Dr. LePera has examples of individuals she has encountered along her journey and within her work, that the very thoughts and the way that they think of themselves and their situation and people around them can lead one to healing and can lead one to becoming even more sicker than what they already are. So we have to understand, and we have an amazing system, our body here. We have an amazing system that, if given the right information, if provided the right support, our body systems, it can start the process of healing itself. But we need to know how to begin that process and what is needed. And there's no better person than you, and I tell clients that, There's no better person than you to know your own stuff, and that's you yourself. You know you. You genuinely know you. And what I like to look at myself as is someone to help empower you to develop an inner advisor that you can learn how to trust. And so many people, they just don't trust themselves, or that has just been so impaired with various things they've gone through in life. They don't know how to do that. So this is where we start, and it requires responsibility on your part. I can't journal for you. I can't make you stop and look at what your habits are, what you're doing. I can't read your mind and know the thoughts that you're thinking during the day and how those thoughts impact you or influence you, and not just you, others around you and your environment. I need for you to start to recognize and understand those things. Let us come back in our therapy interaction and start to really analyze all of that stuff you're starting to understand. Then let us develop a plan where we are going to unpack, unlearn, become aware of things and patterns and foods and thoughts that are putting you in a place of being stuck. It requires you to do your part. Okay? So I want to read just a few passages here. Therapy takes dedication and persistence. Persistence. How often are we like, okay, if I can't get this fixed within like a week, that must not work. How you gonna come to someone and you've been dealing with something for 20 plus years and you want them to fix it in a week? Not gonna happen. Especially as Dr. LePera say, there are things that are just ingrained. We're creatures of habits. Many of us, we may know what our habits are, but how difficult is it to remove a habit? It's really hard. There are people like, oh, I'm going to do this. You're doing great 3-5 days a week. You're like, I got this. This is so wonderful. And then you're like, oh, I missed that moment, or I missed that thing I said I was going to do with myself or for myself. Now a week's gone and I haven't done it. And this is why starting with the small things, being consistent and persistent and determined is going to help you be able to manage the big things that you need to take care of. Okay? Keep repeating a practice until it becomes a discipline. Keep repeating a practice until it becomes a discipline. Whew. In therapy, that is very important. You must keep practicing. I try to tell folks I'm working with that I'm doing the best to my ability to create an atmosphere where you can practice, and it's an environment to allow you to practice those skill sets. But you need to, outside of our time together, you need to be implementing them and doing them. Yeah, you're going to have some challenges because, our regular minds and bodies going to be like, dude, like, just go grab that candy bar. It's just going to help you so much with your stress. And you're like, I'm not trying to get rid of my stress with eating. I'm staying away from that. But our bodies, because we absorb and we are just so attached to the habit, and not all habits are bad, but particularly the bad ones seem to be the most difficult ones to shake. You're just like, I don't need that candy bar. The candy bar is really not helping my stress. It's making things worse. But it's psychologically in your mind, you're like, oh, this is so wonderful, the candy bar or whatever it is. I'm just using it as an example. Okay, so I want to, this is something I feel like Dr. LePera is like a soul sister. There are many things that I felt like my approach and style I do, and I love the way she so eloquently put everything together that really, it's like she sewed this beautiful quilt, because I had different implementations of many of what she is mentioning on what to do and how to do it. I just didn't have it packaged so neatly, and what I think is just a formula putting you on the path to doing the work for yourself on your healing journey. So this is what's so beautiful. Key questions, and this is something that I try to help people start to go there with themselves, is how is your body reacting in a situation, in a moment, and what does your body need? How is my body acting, and what does it need? You need to be able to self-reflect, which guides you to be more self-aware. And as we become more self-aware of our stuff and what's going on, because many of us operate in the reactionary state of things, we just immediately react to something when something goes down. We don't slow down and allow our bodies to shift into a state where we can respond to things happening in our body in a healthier, better way. So those are two important questions. One of the things I love that she mentions, which is my cup of tea, especially as a music therapist, is she mentions a lot about connecting to our vagus nerve, which is the nerve that runs all up and down our body, connects pretty much everything. We've been hearing a lot about polyvagal theory these past couple of years in therapy, which is really understanding that so much of the disease and the disorders are occurring because our body is dysregulated from operating in the best, most healthiest state that it possibly can. So when this occurs, everything which is connected to that being our longest, biggest nerve in our body, the vagus nerve, we need to learn how to retrain that nerve to not become so reactionary to things that are occurring, whether it's something we feel in our body or something out in the environment. And one of the many practices she mentions to help retone it, to help reshape it, to help repair it, is singing. Oh, yes, baby. Singing. Woo! I always love it when I am researching or reading a work. And in particular, it, for sure crosses the road with an approach that I feel so connected with, and have seen some amazing, just some amazing aha moments occur through, with, and by music. That to say that to use the voice to help repair and retone this nerve, which branches out to every other system in our body, is amazing to think that it can be healed and repaired through the voice. And I try to tell people, especially within music therapy, that it can be very difficult because we have so many judgments, perhaps maybe placed on us, whether you feel you fall in the path of being a musician or not a musician, or musically inclined or not musically inclined, is a judgments that we immediately place upon ourselves. I usually get, when I mention trying to incorporate the voice in some way, like, I don't sing. And it's like, I'm not I'm not putting any judgment on what you do, what you can, what you feel you think you can do, but I know that connection, because our voice is immediately in a direct connection with our emotions. And I know that much. And even working with someone and not having them sing in particularly or use the voice in some sort of musical fashion, just even sometimes in working with people or being with people and they just don't have the words or to put together to share or to say what's going on. And then there's that disconnect between here and here. And I even tell people, even humming can be very healing. Humming can be a way to connect right back to your body again. So I am going to make this, I'm going to recommend this and make this a standard that I believe every one of my clients should read. I know, because I can already think of a few occurrences. I know I have people who they don't read. Reading is not the way that they can connect through and get information. And hey, I understand we each have different ways in which we absorb and take in information, perhaps better, or we learn in a different way, and that's fine. I know I have individuals that I work with that probably perhaps would not favor having to read something, but since I am the nerd, and as you can tell, I got sticky notes and all kinds of stuff. I am already working on and incorporating ways that within my time with people, we will be digesting Dr. LePera's book in the best way, in whatever format or fashion that they can digest it. Perhaps having an entire book is too much. It's something that they might buy and it's going to collect dust. But because she has so beautifully put together a formula that really touches base on every aspect of what for many people needs to happen when they are in therapy, I will be utilizing her book. For those who I have that can take and tolerate doing the Future Self Journal, I will continue to utilize that. That is prior to her book coming out, that is what I utilize with some clients that that was willing to go there, willing to do that. And I believe therapy is not just a place where we just gonna talk. We're gonna talk. We're gonna also work on your stuff. It just makes no sense to me that it's not a place that you start to work on your stuff. I tell people again, I do not like to waste your time or your money. And I also remind people that they must do their part to see results, to see improvement. However much they're willing to invest in themselves to do the work that needs to be done, particularly for their situation and their stuff, the more time you can invest, the quicker, the better, the sooner you can remove yourself from needing therapy as much. So I am excited because for me, this gives me a path to put people on that can solidify the connections with what is happening in a particular experience or concerns that you have, what is happening with the body because of those things, or what has happened to the body that has pretty much set you up for not being able to respond and show up in your best way possible. And let's put you on a path to heal both. To heal the things that the mental things and the things with the body. And to uplift you spiritually. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Absent from this body, our energy goes somewhere. So it is important to understand how you can do well and be well to the best of your ability while you are here. Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen to you that is not your fault, that is not fair, that's not cool at all. But I want to be able to help you shine some light and some insight on ways that you can start to repair and heal some things that are unhealthy and to your detriment. And so that is the joy I get out of seeing, perhaps for many individuals, those baby steps that leads to some major aha moments, I call them. And it's amazing when I work with some people that they all about it. They like, I am done. I don't like me. I don't like the situation. It has got to go. This has got to change. And it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing to see people show up in their most authentic, beautiful, worthy, loving selves. It's amazing to see that. And for some people that are like, I'm here, I'm all in. The people that are like, I'm all in, and their time needed is just shrunken and shortened. And I feel like there's not as much interaction that's needed with me. They're doing what they need to do. And that's what I call like, oh yeah, we got you on the right path. Nice. Come back and check with me from time to time. Let me know how things are going. Or come back if you need some freshening up. You need to be refreshed. Come on back. Let me remind you of how well you've done and how well you've come. And that's a bond that I like to have with clients. So I hope you enjoyed the time. If you haven't already, you got to get you a copy. I hear that there is an audio version of it. It's so funny. Sometimes I like to read comments that people leave comments, and some people are like, who read the audio version? Some people are like, I can't engage with the audio version. So whatever floats your boat. Some people, that's how they're able to digest, is that they have audible audio books. Some people are like, mm-hmm. For me, I know in particular with audiobooks, I'm like, if the voice isn't right, I'm like, I'm done. I'm just going to read this myself. And for some people, their voice is captivating and inviting and engrossing to me, and I can stick with an audiobook from beginning to end and re-listen again. So if you choose to want to work with me, I will have you know I will be referencing much from Dr. LePera's book. I don't shy away from it. It's like, these are tools you need. I want to make sure you have them. So Dr. LePera, if you ever happen to run by this or see this, I appreciate you. Thank you for showing us your journey, and allowing us to witness and to have it in our hands to use, not only just for therapists, but many all over the world. I'm excited because next month we're going to be talking about spring cleaning your mental health. Oh yeah. So please join me 10 a.m. Pacific time as we talk about what and ways that we need to spring clean our mental health. Um, I, I enjoy this time. I never know how many people are watching or not, but if anything, hopefully you can be somewhat entertained and also learn something. We want to make sure that our content here at Core 3 Harmony Wellness is uplifting, inspiring, and helpful. So I hope it encompasses a little bit of all of that. So as we get ready to go, feeling the energy created in our hands. I am sending nothing but good vibes your way, setting good intentions for you along your healing journey, wherever you may be. And here you are, from my hands, from my energy to yours. I wish you well, and I look forward to our next time together. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you giving me and allowing me to have a little bit of your time today.